My computer thinks it's on Central Time.
They absolutely do. Check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? JTV, can you turn me up in the microphone? I got a complaint last week that you couldn't hear me real well. I don't know if you can hear me back there. Either way, it is 6:30. It is Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 at 6:30, as I just said. And at this time, I want to call our city council meeting to order. We will start with Pledge of Allegiance, and invocation will be given by 6th Ward Council Member Will Forgrave.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If everybody would take a moment of silence to pray or meditate or reflect, however they see fit. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Forgrave. Madam Clerk, if you will hit us with a roll call, please.
Mayor Daniel Mahoney,
Present.
Vice Mayor Arlene Robinson,
Present.
Second Ward Council Member Freddie Dancy,
Present.
Third Ward Council Member Angelita Gunn,
Present.
Fourth Ward Council Member Laura Dreyer Schlechte,
Here.
Fifth Ward Council Member Karen Bonnell,
Here.
Sixth Ward Council Member Will Forgrave.
Here.
All right, we are all present and accounted for. Looking for a motion and support for the adoption of the agenda. It's been moved and supported. Any additions, deletions? Uh-oh, Laura, I've seen them hands go up. Do you need some help before we get started?
I wasn't here, so I have no idea.
I know.
Used my computer.
Well, that's
so
why
I
I'm
don't know my
pausing,
login.
so that way you can get some assistance in getting caught up.
You guys are tricking me.
Yeah, because you got to vote in the system,
You
so
need
we
that
got to.
because you need that to vote.
Okay, I just
Show me
don't.
where the meeting is.
I don't know my login. So.
You probably have to
hold
do like forgot
You
your
don't need to log
password.
in your end.
on. Well, I have it here. I can't vote on this.
Yes, you can, as long as you're logged in.
Again, just so knows in our public, thank you for coming out first and foremost. We are through a technology upgrade
So
where we are now using board docs. So this is a little bit of a learning curve. Stay patient with us. We will get through this. We're going to get through this together. This is going to make it easier for all of us. Maybe not right now, but eventually sometime in the future, it will be easier for all of us to access all documents, attachments, view them easier. I'm stalling right now so that we can catch up if you have not noticed. Okay, we good to go? All right, right on. Okay, so I think there's a motion and support on the floor. No discussion necessary. So the clerk will tally and display the vote.
So these wood things on the wall don't work anymore? Okay.
Jonathan, can you open? It says the current topic is Photoshop.
it doesn't look like it. Your email.
Which email?
Do you remember which email you sent up?
It's just first initial last name.
Okay, so you're Sydney Jackson.
That'll work. And then Jackson 23.
No, that's just to get into the computer. Daniel, got a good story? You can tell a good story.
I got no good stories. I will. So I'll jump ahead just a little bit, and then we can swing back to just adopting it. So while I was in D.C., I signed up to be a part of an organization called Mayors Against Illegal Guns. And there's a proclamation that I'm planning on presenting to declare the 1st of February to the 7th of February as Gun Violence Survivors Week. And how timely it is, because we've had another unfortunate death of a young person in our community by a gun, which more than likely was an illegal gun. Definitely a Second Amendment supporter. And I think that there's nothing wrong with owning guns responsibly. I think our problem is the illegal guns, and access to illegal weapons is our issue, and it continues to be an issue. So I'm going to be, right after this agenda gets adopted, presenting a proclamation, again, just to declare the first week of February from the 1st to the 7th as a mark for National Gun Violence Survivor Week in recognition of all of those individuals who have survived gun violence. And the vote is posted. Okay, that was good timing. Man, thanks for bringing up the story. Okay.
No problem.
No, man, no apologies. We learning here. We gonna get through this. Okay, so the agenda has been adopted. That brings us down to item number 5, presentations and proclamations. 5.1 is a proclamation declaring the week of February 1st, 2023 to February 7th, 2023 as Gun Violence Survivors Week.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? I don't think any is necessary from me. We just explained it. So the clerk will tally and display the vote.
So I don't have the voting thing
You
on
just have to
here.
refresh it a couple times.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
There we go.
Now it'll be there.
All right. Motion, excuse me, motion passes, brings us down to item number 6, public hearings. Looking for a motion and support to open a public hearing necessity for pavement replacement on North Street from Wisner Street to West Avenue.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote.
So I have a question. Did something happen? Is there something that the clerk is doing that makes this pop up? Okay. Happen? Like, doing that? Okay. Then I won't keep refreshing.
Okay. No, the refreshing is good, but you can just hit that, like where it says hide voting. If you
Yeah.
just hit hide voting and then show voting, instead of refreshing your entire screen, that's a little shortcut.
Oh.
Okay. So public hearing is now open. Before we get started, just want to read the rules for speaking before City Council during public hearings. Number 1, now speaker will state their name and address. Number 2, during public hearings, the City Council may enact a timeline on all speakers to ensure that all present get an equal chance to speak. Council members may answer questions during this time. Number 3, each speaker shall be polite and courteous to the council and members of the public in attendance. While any speaker is free to express his or her opinion on any subject, no speaker may direct personal attacks at any member of the staff or council unrelated to the manner in which they perform their duties, use obscene language while addressing the city council, or engage in disruptive or disorderly behavior during a council meeting. Number 4, should the mayor determine that any of the items listed in item number 3 occur, the mayor may declare the speaker out of order. Number 5, the speaker is declared out of order. The mayor by the mayor, and refuses to cease and desist from disruptive or disorderly conduct. The mayor may order the person removed from the meeting. This was on the citizens. I think this is more citizen comment. I think this one is citizens comment as well. So is there any public comment in reference to, during this public hearing, in reference to the resolution ordering construction and preparation of the special assessment road for pavement replacement on North Street, Wisner Street to West Avenue? This is not, this isn't North's comment. Just want to make sure you still know that you'll get an opportunity for citizens' comment. This is for the public hearing itself. Going once. Going twice. Last chance. Council, any comments, questions, concerns from you?
I have a question. Are they downsizing that road at all, or is it staying the same size?
North Street?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there are any plans to do.
I know east of Cooper, it's pretty wide, and there's a lot of residential there that it could downsize, but that's almost all commercial, if I'm
Yes.
correcting. So, but I don't think it's as wide on North Street right there. Am I correct?
That section of North Street, the curb and gutter is gonna remain. We're just taking out all the pavement and replacing that. So we're not changing the width of the road at all.
Okay. All right. And there's no residential on that area, right? Is that all commercial? No residential house?
Then the south side. Yep, I should put it again. On the south side, on two of the cross streets, there's side yards of residential.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right, seeing or hearing no further questions from council, we'll be looking for a motion and support to close the public hearing.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. All right, motion passes. At this time, we'll be looking for a motion and support for the resolution to order the construction and preparation of the special assessment roll.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. All right, motion passes. Brings us down to item number 7. Okay, citizens' comment. Before we get started, just want to read the rules for speaking before City Council. Number 1, each speaker will state their name and address prior to addressing council. Number 2, each speaker is limited to up to 3 minutes during the citizens' comment portion of the meeting. Council members will not debate or answer questions at this time. Number 3, each speaker should be polite and courteous to the council and members of the public in attendance. While any speaker is free to express his or her opinion on any subject, no speaker may direct personal attacks at any member of the staff or council unrelated to the manner in which they perform their duties, use obscene language while addressing the city council, or engage in disruptive or disorderly behavior during a council meeting. Number 4, should any speaker cause a breach of the peace through their conduct, the mayor may declare the speaker out of order. Number 5, if a speaker is declared out of order by the mayor and refuses to cease and desist from disruptive or disorderly conduct, the mayor may order the person removed from the meeting. Number 6, each speaker may speak once under public comment and may not yield their time to others. John C. King.
John King, 203 3rd Street here in the city. For anyone familiar with JPS board member and the city's Races Equity Commission chair, Keisha Hamilton's comments and videos, there's no debate about the context or nuance of her comments and views. They're flat out racist. When our 6th Ward council member lies and says Miss Hamilton meant something entirely different, talk about stupid, and that he is frickin' tired of the issue. The problem isn't that he's frickin' tired, but that he's frickin' sick, as in fricked up in the head sick. He plays up the politics of the Sheriff Rand situation, but totally dismisses the racism and hate of someone who affects the lives of the community's children and sits on a city board for which he and others here in the council have ultimate authority over. Then we got our mayor's full approval of Keisha Hamilton's racist comments and views with his not worth spending any breath on the issue comment. He led the effort to see that nearly $200,000 went to residents in action, with the equity thing being the driving force. In this case, equity can be defined as residents in action member Davita Quinn put it, giving money to the Negroes. Not coincidentally, Keisha Hamilton is close friends with the Residents in Action crew, and I assume a RIA member herself. Soon after the ARPA funds were announced going to the city of Jackson, Derek Dobie stated he wanted as much of them to go to the south side as possible. The context nuance of the south side, in this case, meaning black people, which from his perspective should keep black people voting Democrat. This has been the philosophy for so many of the millions of the spending of ARPA funds, from the Residents in Action funding to the MLK corridor and affordable housing funding that might push towards $10 million together, to the $2.5 million into the basement of the Sonic Temple for the Freddie Dancy Incubator Kitchen for Black Youth, to produce more Freddie Dancy's and presumably end gun violence as we know it in the city. Speaking of gun violence in the city, this anti-Second Amendment resolution on the agenda tonight is all about the Democrat Party's attempt to take the guns out of law-abiding citizens. His latest attempt was prompted by the shooting on Waterloo Street. I checked the victim's Facebook page, and he had a photo of him like I would imagine a gangster would look like, in a hoodie with certain colors and his face mostly covered, holding up $100 bills in a fan-like shape like a deck of cards. There was the comment, "Be careful, cuz," and the problem isn't guns, it's dollar bills. And
He was reading fast. Christopher Locke.
Mayor Mahoney, council members. I'm not sure, this is about art for a minute. I'm not sure why roundabout traffic sculpture is again the art we're funding tonight, but as 2 weeks ago, listen to the neighborhood this is supposedly working with, consider where non-traffic placements of less abstract. Could this led working with presentational painting, sculpture, murals, installations of textiles, and objects that might celebrate histories and people who have been long waiting for recognition and consider art that is recognizable. But I am not here tonight mainly to address that. Last meeting, we saw plans for the Hayes Hotel, vacant for decades, at last bringing shops, a restaurant, event hall, office, apartments to the heart of town, the importance of that building, its centrality, its history. I'm here to advocate positioning it for maximum transformation, a keystone to Jackson's ascendance. The downtown is far better than just 10 years ago, but being 30 miles from our two largest universities and the most expensive housing in the state, we still need to push Jackson into a charming collection of neighborhoods, parks, and showpiece landmarks that draw new citizens a little farther than Chelsea or Mason to the waiting gem that could be Jackson. The Hayes Hotel stands a few feet next door to our historic Carnegie Library. That is an advantage we should exploit. Instead of two isolated library pieces, find ways to link the two, creating a downtown living room for Jackson. A retiree should be able to leave the Hayes apartment and wander the library stacks without ever stepping outside. A warm chatter of a Hayes front window coffee shop should draw library patrons through out the archway for a break. Patrons not finding a book to borrow may buy a new or used book in a library bookstore, or part of the Hayes complex. The library's stone front facade faces the warm southern sun all winter. In summer, shaded by trees, 3 walls sheltering a greenhouse living room, the town's patio interlinked with the Hayes. At present, we wait for our developer's plan, but Jackson should look at ways this centerpiece can link and interact as a literary hub, fostering our intellect around these landmarks, a key among a few needed initiatives to bring fun people and thriving families to town. I'll send a note reminding us of this opportunity later on to your email boxes. Thank you.
John Light.
John Light, Pleasant Lake, Michigan. What I want to talk about tonight was the, I guess you could call it a debacle on the sculpture that was placed, looking to be placed at the ML King. Miss Robinson, I felt bad for you last week. I could see the frustration in your eyes. I could see it through your body language. Okay, here we had a situation where the city did everything right. We had a diverse group of people from MLK, CIA, Arts Commission. We had a council person on there. We had a racial equity commission people on there. They took their time. They went through the process as good as you can do it. They found the popular vote. And then another name shows up on the agenda, okay? And obviously it caused a little bit of chaos. I believe that was generated mostly by Mayor Mahoney, who was saying, they didn't fill our bid qualifications out correctly, okay? Ms. Gunn asked a question, Ms. Robinson was on it. If only one of the 3 sculptures that were voted on fit if the qualifications, how come that wasn't done before we had the open house and before we presented 3 of them? There should have only been 1 sculpture to vote on. Now, I don't know if Mr. Mahoney has any allegiances to the Doug Jones. I suspect that maybe the conversation went like this. Well, you're one of the 3 running right here. If you don't get the vote, I'll figure out a way to get your sculpture through, which he is attempting to do, because tonight you have an approval of another sculpture, okay? The city taxpayers that went through the process, you did everything according to Hoyle. The city taxpayers should not be on the hook for another $30,000 bill to satisfy Mr. Mahoney's needs. Okay, so you have that on there tonight. If you guys want to erect another sculpture, go through the same process that you just did. Okay, just because Mr. Mahoney did not get his way, we should not throw that on the taxpayers again for another $30,000 bill. Thank you.
Vanessa Mullins.
Thank you for your attention. I dare say that no one in this room believes that if a white employee, I'm sorry, Vanessa Mulnix, Springport, Michigan, Jackson County resident. I dare say no one in this room believes that if a white employee of the city of Jackson posted on a social media platform, "Blackness is so evil," as a black employee posted, "Whiteness is so evil," that they would keep their job. They may even face a hate crime charge. To allow an employee of the city to post inflammatory, derogatory, and racist comments on a public platform and to go unanswered in a city literally founded on the abolition of slavery is wrong. If City Council is silent on this topic, in my opinion, it stands as condoning her published statements and questions the council's moral authority to lead this city with a proud history founded on freedom for all people. Thank you for your attention. Freedom.
Fittinger.
Thank you, Jennifer Bittinger from Jackson. My first comment is regarding the gun violence proclamation. I read through it, and this proclaims some good objectives because we all are compassionate towards those who have suffered from gun violence. However, the community's opinions on solutions vary greatly. Legislation is the process of making laws and rules, and the problem is that the wicked do not conform to rules or laws. The focus needs to be on transforming the wicked with truth, morals, and character while allowing the law-abiding citizens to protect themselves and others. And those that refuse to abide must suffer severe consequences for their actions, and in turn may cause others to rethink their violent actions. But with this proclamation, I don't agree that firearms are the leading cause of death for children. We all know that abortion is the leading cause of death for children. But I am glad that the proclamation declares a desire to value human lives. My second comment is in response to last meeting's councilman's comments. I agree with the mayor's comment that some things don't warrant a discussion, but a public figure appointed by the city who needs correction does warrant discussion, especially if those who oversee it will not address it. I do not want to feed racism and division. She, Ms. Hamilton, is the one who has been feeding herself with false indoctrination and insists on poisoning others with her public comments. And Ms. Forgrave, context matters. Poisoning women are we talking about? Is it ever okay to say negative things about a particular group, whether it's based on race, gender, short or fat people? It's never okay. They are divisive and hurtful words. And you don't know where to draw the line, I want to personally recommend that you study the Bible. That's the best advice, where to draw the lines. But we do need to draw the line at right and wrong. And we are so tired of it too. We can't stop wicked people and organizations from paying her to speak. And yes, she has the right to free speech, but we also have the right to say we cannot have public representatives who use words to speak bigotry and hate and fear. Thank you very much.
Hastings.
Several weeks ago, no local attention seeker, Keisha Hamilton, made a series of public statements that were anti-white and frankly racist as hell. I have the beholden my foot. In any sane world, this person would be just another screeching non-entity on the internet, but Keisha Hamilton works for the city of Jackson as the very head of the Racial Equity Commission and serves at the discretion and with the approval of this very body. That's all of you. That's all of you. Keep in mind that due to national and even international coverage of her public meltdown, it can be safely said that she is now the public face of the city of Jackson, more so than every other elected city official combined. You had a chance to publicly repudiate her, but chose instead to do literally nothing. Now a few words for all the grown-ups in the room tonight. This city is in the process of requiring DEI training, which we all know is woke in political indoctrination for all of its 159 employees. Isn't that interesting? Here's a major reality check, guys, and I'm so glad the city attorney and city manager are in the room tonight. Here's a major reality check. The next time a white employee of the city of Jackson decides to litigate a discrimination claim against you, all a major lawyer has to do, all he has to do, is blow up Keisha Hamilton's social media posts and put them on poster board on a stand as exhibits for all the jury and judge to see. He note that the mayor and city council aided and abetted this racial arsonist instead of taking away the matches. Not good. At that point, the only question is whether the plaintiff settles with you for 7, 8, or 9 figures. Imagine that. You're going to want to settle that too, because if a claim goes to trial, this building you're sitting in tonight might well have a new owner and might get redeveloped for some of those downtown condos that you always seem to be so very excited to talk about. We have a new grave. Your comments at the end of the last meeting were you often contemptible, highly unprofessional, and immoral. As a resident of the 6th Ward, I'm calling for your immediate resignation. If you fail to do so, you will be a special political project for 2023, and you will get exposed to all your constituents as the person of frankly low character that you are. You will be dumped and dumped hard before this year's out. Look over your shoulder, Will Forgrave. November 7th is coming.
Toby
Brave.
Okay. So I'm Toby Berry. I am representing Community Action Agency, and I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for entrusting me with my appointment to the Affordable Housing Development Board. I wasn't able to be here at the last meeting, so I wanted to take that time to say thank you. I also want to let you know that Community Action Agency has published its latest community needs assessment. It can be found on our website under the Who We Are tab and reports. It's a lengthy report because it does cover 3 counties, Jackson, Lenawee, and Hillsdale County, but it's rich in data, and there might be some information in there that you can utilize. I also just want to reiterate that Community Action Agency is committed to working with the city on issues related to homelessness and those living in poverty. I know it seems like there's some thoughts that we're feeling some kind of way about not being funded, and that is not the case. We are here to be a good partner in this community, and we will remain that. And I thank you.
Regina Hastings.
Regina Hastings, City of Jackson. By now, everyone is aware of the inappropriate and racist comments made by JPS board member Keisha Hamilton. She said, among many other things, that whiteness is so evil and that white women are the stupidest, and many more outrageous comments. A group of parents and concerned citizens reached out to the JPS board, who were also very horrified by her statements. At the January meeting, we came to speak and make our voices heard. What we wanted was for the board to condemn her statements as not aligning with the values of JPS and to ask for her resignation. JPS district encompasses around 4,400 students and their families. These statements shocked the whole community, and the news was nationwide. The vast number of people commenting on the story were disgusted by her message. Do white children have a place in JPS? What about the white teachers, staff? What about biracial kids? Are they included in this? The number of people in the city is even greater than in JPS. She sits on the city commission, and the citizens she affects are around 30,000. Do all citizens feel safe and heard and included with someone making these statements? At the last meeting, John Wilson posed some questions to each and every city council member. He asked about the content of some of her statements. So he asked, is whiteness evil? He asked, are white women stupid? Actually, the tweet that he was referring to, it didn't say, are white women are stupid. It said, white women are the stupidest. Actually, only one council member even bothered to respond to John Wilson's questions. That was Will Forgrave of my ward, Ward 6. His answer was almost worse than no answer. He said, Hamilton's statements, you see, that they're taken out of context, and you lose nuance. And what context? What nuance? I really want to know. I hope he explains that. We citizens, parents, grandparents, and the students themselves are really hurting over her statements. How can we feel safe? We feel like we're in a hostile environment. While I realize JPS is not your responsibility, the city is. And I would like for you to state publicly that City Commissioner Hamilton's statements are 100% not in alignment with the city of Jackson.
Nancy Thorpe.
Good evening. Nancy Thorpe, Maple Grove Road, Jackson. My comments tonight are regarding racist comments made on social media by Ms. Keisha Hamilton, who is the chair of the City Racial Equity Committee and the JPS Board trustee. When someone is speaking, tone, nuance, and inflection can be discerned. In the written word, they cannot. For this reason, our judicial system, when presented with a written communique, a text message, or a written post, they proceed with the words as written, just the words as written. So Councilman Forgrave, you were correct when you stated context and nuance are the first things to go. This is as it should be. Because Ms. Hamilton said what she meant. She used the words she meant to use. There is no nuance to change the meaning. If she had meant a particular white woman is stupid, she would have said that. If she meant something other than whiteness is so evil, she would have said that. If she felt anything she said was misunderstood or taken out of context, she certainly would have clarified that in those comments by now. Ms. Hamilton has been quite vocal about her disdain for the white race. Ms. Hamilton has referred to white people as evil, stupid, dangerous, dishonest, and more, which is, by definition, racism. Racism is defined as the belief that race accounts for the differences in character or ability, and that a particular race is superior to others. Ms. Hamilton says she cannot be racist because racism must have a power dynamic behind it. That is linguistic gymnastics. She says she can be biased, discriminatory, and prejudiced, but she cannot be racist. I challenge anyone here to look up racist in a thesaurus and check out its synonyms. You'll find bias, discrimination, and prejudice. That's racism. Contrary to what Ms. Hamilton says, she can be racist. And racism is more egregious when it's displayed by a person in positions of influence as Keisha Hamilton. The failure of this council to condemn racism is disturbing and offensive. The people of Jackson should trust that this council will not condone racism, regardless of who it comes from. Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Jeannie Brown.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Brown. I'm from Summit Township. I felt like the DEI shouldn't be in any corporation. It shouldn't be taught. It shouldn't be taught in Jackson. Why do we really need to teach people how to treat one another? We're all human. I was always taught to treat people how you would like to be treated. I worked for Henry Ford for 25 years. In the past 10 years, they have workshops on this. But in my experience, even though everyone took the class, they didn't enforce it. I was verbally and mentally abused by a coworker I worked with under, and nothing was done about the harassment I suffered. I feel DEI divides people instead of uniting people. DEI stands for diversity, equity, integrity, and it promotes creativity and culture differences. I have colored my hair for years along with other staff members at Henry Ford, but they made a policy stating that you can only have natural hair colors. We argued that goes against diversity. Everybody is different, everybody has their own style, and to say my colored hair is unacceptable is against policy, I disagreed. But they do not want, they do what they want to do. It doesn't matter how many classes and training they take, it's the culture of the workplace that dictates what people can do. I don't think training DEI to companies in Jackson is a good use of taxpayers' money. In my opinion, it's a waste. Being kind to one another costs nothing, and that's what changes lives. On another note, I want to address Keisha Hamilton. The school board member saying, would you rather the entire world be black or white? P.S. Don't hesitate now. And she wrote black without hesitation. Totally unacceptable. Thank you.
Kelly Casimir.
Hello, I'm Kelly Casimir, 762 Oak Ridge Drive, and Chair of the Environmental Commission. I'm here to speak about No Mow May. As you're probably aware, the Environmental Commission has written in support of this initiative. I'm here to provide some additional information and hope to address some of the concerns raised by Public Works. So, traditional monoculture lawn lacks floral resources or nesting sites for bees and is often treated with large amounts of pesticides that harm bees and other invertebrates. When we think of habitat loss, we tend to imagine bulldozers and concrete, but acres of manufactured lawn are just as much a loss of habitat as any development site. Bee populations have been in decline for decades due to the combined threats of pesticides, habitat loss, and climate change. One way to increase bee habitats is by participating in No Mow May. No Mow May is a conservation initiative which is gaining traction across North America. The goal of No Mow May is to allow grasses to grow unmown for the month of May, creating habitat and forage for early season pollinators. This is particularly important in urban areas where floral resources are often limited. The start of the growing season is a critical time for hungry, newly emerging native bees. Floral resources may be hard to find, and allowing lawns to grow longer and not applying pesticides to flowering plants can provide nectar and pollen to help bee neighbors survive. Experiments conducted by the USDA Forest Service's Northern Research Station found bee abundance increased when lawns were mowed every other week. Mowing every 3 weeks resulted in more than double the number of flowers available in lawns and increased bee diversity. Maintaining bee populations are critical for the security and resiliency of our food supply. In fact, without bees acting as pollinators, 70% of plants would be unable to reproduce or provide food. According to the United Nations Environmental Program, of the 100 crop varieties that provide 90% of our world's food supply, 71 are pollinated by bees. In North America, honeybees alone pollinate nearly 95 kinds of fruit, such as almonds, avocados, cranberry, apple, in addition to commodity crops like soy. Speaking specifically toward the concerns of Public Works, May is not the heart of the growing season. As an avid gardener, the last frost dates for our community are in mid to late May. So this is when snow is often still on the ground, and that's the point. There is little frost growth, and we are trying to encourage the little that is there to exist further. There's also a concern about blight. As far as I'm aware, we are talking about backyards only, and this is an opt-in program for what I would imagine to be a small number of actual citizens and city-held properties. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. TJ.
I just come up here to talk about RIA. 848 South Lakeside Drive, Tracy Joe Sutliff, Michigan Center.
We know who you are, TJ.
I know, but he wants to know every time. Okay. I really came up here to talk about this Michigan that we've had and how amazing it is to partner up with you guys with this hotel thing. We've gotten people employed. We've had many, many good things happen. There is nothing racial about this program, not even a little bit. I wasn't even getting up here to talk about Keisha, but if you guys really, really have time to sit here and talk about this, and she's not even, she's not even here for her to be able to even speak her mind, and for them to have time to do this. Do you know what happened at Jackson High today? Do you know what our kids went through? I speak her through the whole thing. I was right there to do this. To be for us to work more than what somebody tweets. Are you kidding me? This is freedom of speech. We have way bigger problems than this. So I just feel bad for her and that she can't be here to stand up for herself because some people take it out of context. I'm a white woman, a white gay woman, and I read right through it and I understood it. And some people don't, and they take it the wrong way. They can take it however they want. We're here to work together as a team. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what race. We're taking here to work together, and that's what we've been doing. In RIA, Residents in Action, that's what we've been doing. We don't care where they come from, what happened to them. We meet them where they're at, and we've had success. And I just want to put it out there that I really hope that we can all come together someday and work together because this racism stuff is just bull crap. I'm just over it. I'm just sick of people just dogging people. They don't have nothing better to do. There's nothing better to do. Our kids could have got shot today. They're in rooms, under tables. There's nothing to do. Use their phone. Skip today. I picked 40 up of my friends' kids in a van. They come out crying. It was horrible. Let's worry about stuff like that. I'm not yelling at you guys, but they won't let me turn that way, so. I'm saying, let's worry about stuff like that. Picture, our kids could have died today, and I pray for them. I pray for all the families tonight that have to sit with your children and explain to them how horrible this is. They're going to have PTSD over this. And we're all the with Keisha. Are you kidding me right now? Come on, let's all work together. I work for RIA. I'm white. So the racist thing, I don't even get what you're talking about. We work together as a team because we work to help the homeless, and we've been helping the homeless, and I love all of you for helping us.
Thank you, TJ.
It's work for that.
Hi, I'm Angela Edward. I'm on Heiser Street, Ward 6. I was not able to come to the last meeting. I did watch it online afterwards. I saw that it was a very long discussion about art. Alejandro Gonzalez, he's a director and an artist, and he says art should provoke, so good job, guys. I know that this discussion lasted like an hour, and so I just wanted to come introduce myself, give an opportunity to, if you ever want to have it go through the channel of the Public Arts Commission first, just to, for efficiency, save time. I wanted to just kind of, I guess, put that out there for you, so that if you ever feel like you need more space to, I guess, talk about it after it goes through the commission and we can really hash it out there. That's also open to the community. People can come for public comment there. But I think that was really my only point, was to come and just introduce myself so that you see the face. I've been volunteering / serving for, I think, about 4 years now. And you guys are all welcome to come as well. And that way, if there's any concerns about art, you can definitely hash it out there too. So that was it. Thank you, guys.
Roger Mulford.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council people, for allowing us to speak. It seems like I must have missed a pretty good meeting a couple of weeks ago, and some things that must have happened. I'm here to talk about, just briefly, give you an update on the resolution declaring that the investigation and arrest of individuals involved with the personal use, growth, and possession of ethnogenic plants, including those scheduled at state and federal levels, to be the lowest priority growth for the police in the city of Jackson. There's a meeting that's coming up later this month with a state organization, and they are putting together the drive to have it on the ballot in November in Jackson and several other communities and around the state. It is a growing of interest by people. They're reading about it all of the time, hearing about it and wanting to be able to use it, but not have to go to the street to find the mushrooms and psychedelics that they feel that they need to overcome depression, PTSD, and other things. Psychedelic, Colorado, they have legalized it for the state, and just this last week, Australia has legalized not only all of the ethnogenics, but MDMA as well. It is a world-growing phenomenon. It's happening. There's more research being done on it. Johns Hopkins, the University of New York, have done mounds of information on it. Bloomberg publishes once a week. They have articles on ethnogenics in the Bloomberg. Insurance companies have just paid for in Canada for the use of it. It's coming to Jackson. I would love to see the city initiate it, take control of it. The city of Ann Arbor's and Washtenaw County has approved it, as has Detroit and one other municipality in Oakland County has approved. Detroit passed unanimously by the councils there. All of them, unanimous, because they did their homework, their research, they looked at it. I find that the directive from the prosecuting attorney in Washtenaw County to be extremely informative, very well written, with just a lot of evidence-based information in there. Look at it, read it, look it up. If you don't know where to find it, you can contact me. I'll get it for you. I'll have it right here. It's an excellent piece, as well as the ordinance that Ann Arbor has enacted for this very same purpose of making it the lowest priority for the police. The war on drugs is coming to an end.
Thank you,
Thank
Roger.
you. Yes.
That brings us through citizen comment, brings us down to item number 8, petitions and communication from city staff and other governmental entities looking for a motion and support to accept and place on file the City of Jackson, Michigan financial statements as of and for the 6 months ended December 31st, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. All right. Motion passes. Brings us down to the consent calendar. Looking for a motion and support to pass our consent calendar. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. All right, motion has carried. That brings us down to other business. Item 10.1, city homeless efforts, winter sheltering of the unhoused. We'll turn that over to city manager.
The report was included in the packets. It was sent out to you last week and included in the packets. The reports demonstrate the significant need and the work that demonstrates the work that our contractor is doing for us. They continue to work very closely with Corey Mays from Community Development and continue to provide the services they can. And as far as the work they're doing, it's, as stated last time, very solid, and happy to continue the relationship and work through things with Tasha. She's been great, and the whole team's been great. And that's pretty much it. The numbers speak for themselves, and the comments tonight addressing the homelessness speak for themselves.
Counselor, is there any questions?
I just have one. Did I hear that the PIT count point in time of homeless was somewhere between 25 and 35?
I don't know what I didn't hear anything about the PIT count.
Yeah, is that what it was? 25.
And if I recall correctly from the last meeting, or not 2 meetings ago, there was a question if people who were in our program through RIA would be counted as homeless, and the clarification was if they're receiving these services, then they are.
Yeah, they'd be counted at it.
Yes.
But they would be counted as, excuse me, thank you, counted as part of the homeless count.
Correct, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a question. So I know in the report, Tasha was talking about maybe allocating some money or moving some money around since they may not be using money in certain areas. Can I hear more about that?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit. Well, Tasha's come up to share her ideas, but I think that based on the motion, that was like the one time a year I permit myself to get sick, so I didn't hear it exactly. But I think you authorized a whole dollar amount for the program, so shifting money around between different activities to flex, to flex to different priority areas or need areas is permissible under in my opinion, under what the motion you guys made. But that's true. We have greater needs in some areas. And
Did you want some more context to what the request was? Is that what you're asking for?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Tasha, if you would, please.
Hello. Yes, so there's a couple of different areas. One, we initially allocated $40,000 for food. The businesses have been, local businesses and individuals, churches have been really good about working with us. TJ, Davida, and Selena have been boots on the ground. working with people, and as a result of that, we've not used as much of the food budget as we initially thought that we needed to. We've also worked with individuals to apply for benefits, and so they now qualify for emergency SNAP benefits. So with that said, we would like to reallocate some of that money to additional hotel that will allow us to place more families and individuals in the hotels over this time period. We're also hoping to work with the Jackson Chamber to get the word out even more so that we don't have to use as much of that benefit. Also, there's the two roles, the data performance person and the performance improvement person. When City Council asked RIA to start the project the next day, the people from Residents in Action were actually on vacation, and then one of the people, her mother passed away. So I basically assumed the roles of those two people, and I know the optics isn't good for me to receive that money, so I would also like to reallocate those $2 to more staff hours. The scope of the project was initially 25 individuals or unique individuals or family, and we have placed 72 people, I think, in hotels and coordinated dinner. And so that volume, I mean, that the staff is working more hours than initially anticipated. And what was the other thing I was going to say about that? So hours, giving more hours to, well, and then the other thing is we have a waiting list of over 170 people. So with some addition, reallocating those dollars, we could make more outreach to those people who are currently on the waiting list to help connect them to resources. I think those were the major areas.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I have a couple questions. It's appropriate. So you say more staff. Are you talking specifically about a homeless support specialist?
So two pieces. The first line was the boots on the ground people. So that's TJ, Selena, and Davita working with the people who are already placed, and even, driving around town and finding people who are actually living out in the elements and bringing them in. But the other pieces, when we took this over, there were, I think, 18 people already placed in the hotel, and then there was a waiting list that the city had of 40. We created an algorithm or a scoring rubric to basically ask questions, gather information to better understand what people's living situations were, so that we could place those with highest need in the hotels. Well, that whole process, we've had to take on a couple more people to actually man the calls that are coming in and also do that assessment intake process. So those funds would also go to pay them.
Any other questions?
So when you say the first line, you mean the 182 hours of the 572 that were budgeted?
It was like 572 hours, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So to date, just on those boots on the ground, we've spent a little over $4,500 in salaries, essentially.
It's a little more than that. So it's actually, I submitted a report like right at 5 o'clock today. Sorry, it's closer to 9 or 8, I think.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Any additional questions, council?
I don't know. I'm hoping you guys can save the world. I mean, right now I think there's going to be a cliff. for people. If we okay, so right now where we stand, we have maybe just over 2 weeks if we kept who we currently have in the hotel, and if we didn't add anyone else, by reallocating those dollars, it's going to give people a little more time and also allow us to add more people. I guess my consolation is we've given some reprieve to those who were living out in the elements, and we've been able to connect a lot of people to resources that they just either they didn't know how to navigate, or I wish I should have. Okay, I just have to do this. Just to give you an idea of what we're doing here. Hold on, and I won't be able to find it just because. So I won't be able to find it. It's going to be better for me to read it, but I'll just kind of give you an idea of what. So this particular person, oh, maybe I will be able to find it. His own words is, bear with me 1 second. Okay. So these are his words, and I did get permission to share this. So you're getting a snapshot of what the final report will have. So he says, "Forgive me, ma'am, for such a late night, but I'm texting while my thoughts are still fresh. I appreciate all you have done and what you are doing. When I was in my van, my legs swelled up bad, and many nights I forgot to take my heart diabetic meds. Since being here, I have gotten new doctors and going to my appointments on time. I went to DHS and did a SIR form. I placed an app with Reed Manor. So by you being nice and helping me has given me the incentive to do what was long overdue. I'm very thankful for you being there for me. I don't know what's going to happen from here out, but I'm thankful, appreciative for everything. Thank you so much." And there's some additional dialogue, but just having that, and look, I'm getting all emotional because just having that reprieve to, when you have to worry about where you're going to sleep at night, regardless of what your situation is, and you just have time to lay back, relax, and think about things that you know that you should have been doing anyway, but you just, the stress of it all, you just didn't have you didn't have the strength to even think about all of the other things. So just giving that little bit of reprieve for them to go in a warm room and not have to worry about freezing and having food. He did stuff on his own. He went to DHS, he applied for benefits, he's taken his meds, he went to the doctor. So, I mean, I don't know, yeah, there's so many stories. People getting jobs, and so there's so many insights from this project. I do think that there will be, we don't have housing. So, I think that's the biggest thing. We've been able to create the homeless verification letters for people to be assessed by CAA and be placed on the Section 8 list, but that voucher expires if they don't have, if there's not adequate housing. So, yeah. I know I have creative ideas on, working with landlords or whatever, realtors, whatever. I have all kinds of ideas that maybe, or insights, I guess I should say, from what I'm hearing. But, it's not going to happen overnight. So, yeah, there will be a cliff, I think.
I certainly hope you'll share those thoughts that you have, because that one spark may lead to a huge way to solve a big problem or parts of a problem. So don't keep that close to your vest.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I just want to say how appreciative I know I am, and I'm sure the rest of the council is for your willingness to take this project on. I think you've done a phenomenal job, and you were, and Rhea and your team were absolutely the right partners to choose to take this on.
Thank you.
So, Rhea, if that's been happening, I will start clapping.
Thanks to my team.
So I think that takes care of item number 10, unless there's any looming thoughts or questions.
The 25 in the PIT count, that's plus what was in under our.
I have no idea. I'm not on the continuum of care, so I don't know.
Well, I just know that they're still homeless, and we're talking about this drop here later
So the way
on.
that we have to report them are sheltered homeless and unsheltered homeless. So the people who were in the hotel got counted under
Okay.
our sheltered number.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
you're welcome.
So the 25 number was unsheltered.
It is not finalized. We've not gone through all the process, if those were preliminary.
Okay. Any additional questions, Vice Mayor?
No, that was
Okay.
it. I just wanted to get that.
Okay, that brings us down to number 11. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So under city homeless efforts, is there any updates on the pallets?
Yep, we still continue to work with that process to make sure that they can be installed legally on the site for the state building codes. It's working out really well. Brian Taylor's done a lot of good work. We've brought in a couple different partners to help clear up some of the hurdles. I have to give a shout out to James Johnson, who's on a lot of our city boards and commissions for helping me out. Specifically, I called him on one thing, and then we started just we're not saving the world, as Tasha said, but we're doing a lot of good work in one area. So it's hopefully soon we'll have everything cleared and have some pallets to have installed here real soon. Okay. Pretty happy with it.
And then I would just like to ask, I agree with Laura Schlucky on hearing what Tasha's ideas are beyond this, that, her insights and what we could do, us or whoever can do, so that we don't have, 75 people falling off a cliff.
Good segue. I was actually just going to ask you what the status on TA Wilson was.
The status is item number 12.1.
Is it okay?
Everybody's turning their pages to 12.1 now.
What's that?
I say everybody's turning their pages to 12.1 now. Any other questions? Oh, not gonna stick around for the rest of the meeting, okay? It's too bad.
To be direct and finish it off, Councilmember Bunnell, I know I said to finish it off and not be so oblique. We had those tours, they went well. Looks like we have a solid core of collaborators and partners who want to be with us on something like this. So a lot of different ideas, and more than ideas, some solid as they could be, commitments to work with us on that.
So if the city moved forward with TA Wilson, it wouldn't necessarily end up us owning it.
I feel pretty comfortable that that'd be the case.
Sure we do.
Well, not one that.
That way we can sell it. Okay, new business. 11.1. Looking for a motion and support to award the contract to Michigan Agribusiness Solutions LLC of Saginaw, Michigan for the hauling and land application of biosolids from the wastewater treatment plant.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. And the motion is carried. That brings us down to 11.2, Jackson Wastewater Treatment Plant Main Switchgear Project Change Order 1.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion on the item? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Right. Motion carries. Brings us down to 11.3, looking for a motion to support for changes to the standard lighting contract for street lights with Consumers Energy for the removal of one street light.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Motion carries and brings us down to item number 11.4, looking for a motion in support to revoke the conditional Phase 1 facility license for a medical/adult use marijuana establishment by the name of Jars Holdings, LLC.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? No. This is going to get interesting.
We're going to see how Freddie's going to vote on this one.
You know this is to vote to revoke the license.
So you can vote.
No.
Okay.
You're going to still vote no to revoke the license?
The clerk will tally and display the vote. Okay. All right. The motion passes.
I do have a question on the voting. If someone votes, like one voted nay, will it show who voted nay?
Still working that out.
Oh, all right.
As of right now, if it happens, I will just verbally report out
Oh, okay.
the vote.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Get ready.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay, 11.5, looking for a motion to support to approve conditional Phase 1 facility license for a medical/adult use marijuana establishment as per ordinance section 16-516.
So moved, just for Freddie.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote.
Really, just for Freddie.
And the motion passes 6 yeses, 1 nay, nay being Mr. Dancy.
Yay.
Right on. Stay consistent, brother. Okay, 11.6, looking for a motion and support for approval of Community Shapes art sculpture for the MLK Equality Trail near intersection of MLK Drive and High Street.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
I just want to make a comment. We do have an arts commission. I did watch the meeting last time, and I did have some concerns that the first whole thing didn't go through the Arts Commission and that the Arts Commission didn't get an opportunity to make the recommendation. And I hate to we have these commissions for a reason. And I hate to, I'm trying to plug in my computer at the same time. I hate to discourage them by not taking their opinion into hand. I did talk to Mr. Jones, because it is a sculpture that's circular, and I thought, oh, it really needs to be on a roundabout, and we have the cool Cooper Street, and we have Elm, and he said that he's talked to you guys, Kelly Hoover, and I'm not sure who else at the city, and is happy with where it's going, so because he's the artist, and I do think all of those sculptures were very cool. In fact, we were getting a group of people to try and raise the $60,000 to buy the other two, but this all went forward faster. I just think if we have commissions, we should utilize them. I think it's important. And that particular commission did a very good job, as Roy was mentioned by one of the commenters. And they worked hard, and they did it for 6 months, and I think that they should be involved in this. So.
I just want to comment, while I appreciate public art and I can understand some of the rationale behind wanting to put this at the MLK Trail, we did an RFP for the first piece of art. If we're gonna do another piece of art, there should be a separate RFP, in my opinion. This piece of art wasn't specifically designed to go where it's gonna go, and I also think that we could be doing art in other places. Not that there's, I think, anything wrong with putting something at the MLK Trail. I just think that this might be slightly outside of the scope that we're doing for this piece of art. So I will be voting no.
Any additional comments?
My question is, there's 2 different locations or 2 different sides. Is this for one, or are we having one on each side of the street? There's a 1 and a 2. I think, unless I'm misunderstanding what was there. I think there was a location 1.
Oh,
and
there are 2
location-
possible locations on either side of the trail, it looks like.
But 1 is the preferred side?
Yes, we'd like to work on the artist preferred side to do that. So option 1. So that would be east of MLK, north of the trail.
Mhm. North of the trail?
Yeah, the trail goes right there. North side of it.
Okay.
Any additional comments?
I just want to comment that I agree with council members Schlechte and Bunnell that this is an opportunity to have another open process, involve the Arts Council. I'm not really sure why we're taking kind of like the second place and providing kind of a consolation option or consolation prize. So I prefer that we defer this back to the Arts Commission. And I'll be voting no on this too.
Any additional comments?
I have a question. So the money that, hypothetically, if we do approve this and move forward, the money to pay for the sculpture is coming from the sale of the engine at the wastewater plant, is that correct?
That is correct.
And how much do we sell it for?
If I recall correctly, $50,000. They made 2 installment payments of $5,000, and then they wanted to pay the rest in a lump sum of $40,000, which they did.
And hypothetically, if we don't approve this, where does that money go?
That money would go into the general fund.
That's all I have.
Could that money be earmarked for something special?
I mean, it's in the general fund. You can
Oh, well, whatever.
effectively what
I
you're
know
doing.
what you mean. That's the point. What were you going to do with the money?
I was going to throw you a party.
Oh, sweet. It's an expensive party. Wow.
So I guess my comments would be that I don't think this is a consolation. I think it's more of a compromise. I think that the Arts Commission did a phenomenal job at deciding which one they wanted to put forth. I think that the ad hoc committee did a phenomenal job. As Kelly said, they put a tremendous amount of work into it. I think that when you're looking at an RFP again, and I expressed this last week, if anyone disagrees, I don't understand how you could disagree. That when you look at an RFP, a proposal to do a project, like I said, let's say this was a street project. If there was a blank in the budget, I'm pretty sure we would just move on to the very next best option that did provide us a budget, showing us that they could stay on budget for the project that's being proposed. And I think, in my opinion, while it was presented, and I don't want to rehab the decision that we made, but I do want to point out some things that I thought about afterwards. Looking at the breakdown of the public feedback that we got, it was like way less than 100 comments, not votes on I voted for this one, because people could comment on as many of the pieces of art that were presented. It wasn't presented like choose one, like you get one slip when you walk in the door. No, there were slips at every station. You could comment on every single one. So I think that was kind of a misconception, that the popular vote won. However, I think this is an opportunity to compromise. I think an additional thing that we are severely overlooking, that we don't overlook in any of our other bid processes, is that this is someone who's local. This is someone from Jackson. Not just someone from Jackson, but someone from Jackson South Side. Not from just from the South Side, but someone from who lives in. But he helped the city of Jackson establish the Fraud Commission, who you're saying we should bounce this back to. Followed every provision, every single rule that we had in the RFP, and somehow that was overlooked. The most critical part, in my opinion, the art itself is subjective. The budget is not. Our responsibility is fiscally more than visually. It would have been the second choice in comparison to what the proposed or perceived overall pick was, but it was not a deep enough. See, I messed up and I took this statistics class, right? There's such a thing was taking too small was sample. See, I'm in your world now, Tasha. I messed up taking too small statistics data sample to such a truly be taken tell if you're actually looking at what's the part of the community of whatever such a population taking you're trying to please or get data from in that moment. In my opinion, that sample size was far too small, right? So you're proposing right now, and yes, this is me pushing for someone local like we generally do in all the hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in contracts that get pushed to push contractors. Like me pushing for someone in local to get a project who I believe is a very get representative of making it coming from Jackson South Side. Project now a statewide recognized artist from our community. This is an honor, in my opinion. This is an honor for us to be able to entertain the fact that he said, I didn't think I would even be able to do this under the budget that was presented, but I put it together, right? So if the budget was blank, I'm sure he could have came with all kinds of different things, but it wasn't. We had a cap, and he followed that to the T. He followed that. He put a timeline on it that he was going to follow. And an opportunity for us to someone who is from our community and supporting the work that they put forth in a place that he grew up in. With money, it's not marked for anything else. It's one-time money. And this is an opportunity for us to, again, expand the artwork that we've already done on all other parts of the community. We cannot keep talking this, let's beautify, let's redevelop, let's reshape the south side of Jackson and then think that it's not enough value on the south side of Jackson to put additional art there. It deserves it. It deserves it in a major way. This is more than a statement about just the art piece itself. This is the person, this is the part of town that it's going in, and this is a great opportunity for us to expand on the art that we have all over this community, except on one part of the town, the south side. That's just my opinion. Now, I would love to go another round, but I think everybody already has where they stand. If you have something detrimentally important that you want to say, you know I'm not going to stifle your additional comments. But I would prefer to just vote. I don't know where anybody else stands. If you're ready to vote, if you want a more conversation about it, I'm okay with it, but I'm okay with us just voting. Okay, see it. East side.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I guess for me, call me represent the second ward, but you know, it's always, I talk to them, we can get some of this on the east side. East side, you know, we don't have roundabouts, we don't have trails. So, you know, we'd love to have some kind of art structure, not this, but, you know, I just.
We don't have one in Ward 4.
Well, we ain't talking about the fourth ward. You know.
Yeah, I'm in the fourth ward though.
We're talking about the east side. No, I'm just being petty and everything, but I'm gonna support it. I just been petty, but just letting. I'm talking by you.
Yeah, I know where you're
I'm talking to that person, and that person sitting over there on the end over there, that young lady. That's what I'm talking to when I'm talking about the east side, and we like to have some nice things pop up sometimes.
Heard
within
loud,
the next
heard loud and clear.
4
And the
years.
fourth ward wants one too.
Heard loud and clear. Even if he don't hear you, I hear you.
And I gotta
Vote.
say, Doug Jones has been to my house for Christmas 3 times, and I've gotten a piece of art from him each time. He's very cool. He is very cool. He's a good friend of my son's. But he's a graduate from Cranbrook. Their art, I mean, he has done amazing things. It is not a question about Doug and his ability. My concern, I'm going to vote yes, because I had a conversation with Doug and he feels comfortable with that piece of art in that location. But my original concern was that it was designed for a roundabout, and I felt it should be in a roundabout. And we have options for roundabouts. They aren't in the south side. They're in prominent places, though. Cooper Street and Elm Street can't get any better than the entrance to our community. And I do feel that I just want to make sure the Arts Commission knows they did a great job. They worked hard on this, and they are very much appreciated. So, and just a small FYI, I was told Doug was 3 days late in submitting his application. So, after watching last time's meeting, he wasn't perfect. So.
Oh my God.
I just want to say I'm holding back, and I'm in a really argumentative mood. So just, I think you should just move on.
Don't hold back.
No, I'm holding back because I could keep going.
We did last meeting.
I know. That's why I'm holding
Don't-
back.
Okay. Madam Clerk will post the vote. And the motion carries 3-4, Mahoney, Robinson, Dancy, Schlechte, 3 nays, Gunn, Bunnell, 4 grays. And that brings us down to item number 1117, No Mo May, resolution, looking for a motion and support.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Discussion.
Can we get Mike up here to talk about the effects of not mowing? What that would do for us?
I think a better question would be is if what the chair of the Environmental Commission spoke to in her comments, did that clarify the concerns of our Public Works Department?
I can speak on behalf of Mike. It clarified concerns for me. I do think that this will snowball into something where you're going to have neighbors calling you about people not mowing their front yards, and then you'll be asking DPW to send our contractors to mow front yards, and then people will be frustrated that it's no mow May. That's just, 20 years in local government tells me that that's probably pretty likely to happen. So as long as we have your back, you have our back, that, if there's a front yard that needs attention, that it gets the attention, and we don't fall, don't want to say victim, but we don't buy by the excuses that come from it, and you permit us to mow people's lawn when they don't do it, after they get a warning, hello, backyards only, please take care of your front. No one gets an automatic fine or penalty anymore. As long as you have our back on that, I think this could work out, but I do have some concerns, but the backyard clarification was positive.
I'd also like to clarify too that, to your point, we can continue to mow the lots we are responsible
Oh,
for.
we will 100% be
Yeah.
mowing the city lots. And the parks and the cemeteries
And I
and
think to
everywhere
Kelly's
else.
point, there's a small subset of people I think that'll take part in this, and I think it will help. And it's not as if things are going incredibly smoothly right now, right? Like, you're gonna continue to get calls about people's lawns. It's just a matter of, maybe you'll get a couple more. I'd be surprised if it gets too crazy, is what I'm saying.
Depends on the rain.
We might still have snow in May at this rate.
Bite your tongue.
So,
There'll be no shovel.
as with everything, Mr. Mayor,
No shovels.
myself and staff serve at the Pleasure Council, and if you guys decide to do this, we've spoken our piece. You've heard from the Environmental Commission. We are here to do what you guys ask.
Yeah, I appreciate your comments that help clarify for me, questions that came up as well, so. I like the idea.
Okay. Any other comments?
My question, Mr. Mayor, is this is a recommendation to disapprove.
So I was just going to make clarification that the
Okay.
motion on the floor is to approve the resolution for no mow May. Is that what?
To approve the resolution, it says disapprove.
No,
Yeah.
our recommendation is disapprove, but Mr. Forgrave's motion was to approve it.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if I specifically said that, but that was my
I was
intent.
just
Yeah.
clarifying.
Yeah,
Yep,
I was
I
gonna
just
say,
wanted
I
to
didn't hear
clarify
it
with the
either.
motion.
But
Yeah.
if I understand Jonathan correctly, you're changing your recommendation?
No. My recommendation is that you don't approve it, but I understand that Councilmember Forgrave's motion was to approve it.
I see, okay.
Crazy, scandalous, man.
Disagreements, resentment.
So
fisticuffs.
how do we do this? Is it a amendment or?
Will made the motion.
Will made the motion.
Karen supported.
So if you vote yes, you're voting to endorse no mow May.
And a vote for no means no to no mow May.
No mow May.
No,
no
no,
mow
no
May.
mow
No mow May.
Sounds like a rap song coming out of
It
this.
is. Okay. We all minds clear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, clerk will post the vote. And the motion is carried, 6-4, 1 against, 1 being Mr. Dancy.
Just plants in general.
That's what
No
it is.
plants, no marijuana.
Dancy.
You're going in the weeds,
What did plants ever do to you?
Oh, my goodness. Brings us to item 11A. Looking for a motion support to approve the sale of city-owned property located at 352 North Grinnell Street, 823 Maltby Street, 612 East Ganson Street, and 704 East Ganson Street to Fresh Start Real Estate Services, LLC.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is this the one that you were telling me about?
Yes.
I don't know if anybody else has heard about it or
No,
public.
Do
You
tell.
should definitely know. Please do tell.
So,
About.
as everyone on this council knows, we've been very aggressively selling our city lots. We have many hundreds of them. A lot of people, a lot of folks in the city have taken advantage of our side lot program. It's always great to see them expand their yards. Love that. Now we're starting to attract some housing developers. And this isn't happenstance. This was a deliberate effort led by Shane Laporte and Scott Fleming and Lisa Motino here tonight to offer these lots and to find home builders who will work with the city to build a product that is reasonably affordable to sell in the city of Jackson. And so we have our first developer on the line who indicates their desire to build 4 homes on these lots. And as I understand, a number of these homes are already pre-sold. So there's showing some demand in the housing market for new sales. And this is a good program, and I anticipate that staff will be bringing more of these in the future with a more diverse set of developers and builders. Word's gotten out. I think we've got a handful that we're talking to right now. It's really exciting. I'd like to see some new homes built in the city in greater numbers. So this is a good thing, and I expect more.
Are these developers intending for these homes to be owner occupied?
That is the point, yes, is to
Okay.
be owner occupied.
Perfect.
That's great.
Pretty nice thing.
It is. Any additional comments, questions, concerns? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will post the vote. Motion carried. All in favor? And that brings us to item number 12, closed session. Looking for a motion support for council
So
to
moved.
suspend our regular meeting to go into closed session.
I have
It's been moved and supported. Mr. Forgrave.
I have a clarifying question. So we have 2 items we're discussing. Are we going to have to, and this sounds crazy, but are we going to have to come out and vote again to go into closed session, or can we talk about both?
No,
Okay.
motion, I think, should cover us
Cover
going
both,
into
yeah. Okay.
closed session for item, and I'll clarify that motion is on the table for going into closed session on item 12.1 as well as 12.2. Any additional questions, comments, concerns on the motion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. And all are in favor, and we shall return momentarily.
Lisa? Lisa? Lisa?
Yeah, that's part of the documents, yeah. So they don't do it.
Kelly, where you think you going? What's up, Toby? How you doing? All right.
Well, that's what, the other, these guys, they were both 16. Nobody takes account of the very, nobody, they see the city in itself. It's Washington, and he did 33 years, he got out, he's been out for 15. Stayed in a slumlord, trailer where CC was backing up, and then he finally had enough after 10 years of living there. Reported it to the health department, and she started it, and he hasn't moved. So one thing, maybe if you don't want to say housing together, but if you can get a house or like a duplex or a two-bedroom, and those two people, that's what they want to be roommate. That's $300 a month for each, or four, if it's $800 a month place. But if it's a duplex, it should be like 6 to 7, so they can house together. You know, and they changed the law, so it's no longer like $1,000 a school. It's like $200. So check into that. That law is different. It's a lower amount of schools. And so it gives you a wider range to find housing. But just a suggestion, that's if they want to house together, roommates, you know, that way it's 2 birds, 1 stone. And they both have a 1 6 place to live. Right. And they can count on each other, and they can talk to each other about the stuff they've been through, and, you know, they got each other's backs because they know the loss, and they know the truth. And I know it's the hardest time to learn, especially for that type of thing, but, you know, in Genesee County, they have, a voucher that says, hey, I've been fully incarcerated, I've changed my life around, and the sheriff's office gives you a voucher that says, you know, you're gonna be a safe rental. So you give it to any landlord, and they let you in, because they know that who evicts you, the sheriff department will evict you. So, nation outside, we're trying to do something. If there was more housing options, if there was more housing, but you know what, housing subsidies, the stringent rules they put on the landlords. And then landlords like, yeah, I'm gonna do all this, so I'm gonna charge my rent, and not gonna be for it. Not even me. And I'm still getting rejected too, because we're not gonna do it. I live on campus right now, but when I'm on campus, what do I go, what do I do? Where do I go? I have to buy a home.
Some landlords, tenant towers require you to have a 6 to 80.
More than. You know how long it took me to get my credit score to 680? I had identity theft when I was a kid. Yeah. So I had to fight that. Wow. And I'm a college graduate, you know, that they make that happen. I had letters from an old probate judge, Susan Bannister, she's my mentor, she knows me personally. I had one of my I think that's when I started my internship with Defendants of Defense, through Catholic Social Services. One of my references was the undersheriff Chris Simpson. And obviously they didn't look at that. All they looked at was that rubbish and said, I cannot support your internship for the liability.
Yeah, there's lots of apps out there and stuff too that can change the phone number and things like that. This number yeah, I mean, we're turning most of our information over to the FBI, and they've got some
I heard
information. Yeah, it's tough to say though, because last I heard, it sounds like maybe that they might be extremely picky with you. So it's like, you know, how do you even enforce any laws?
Yeah, I mean,
sitting there like, yeah, I love you so far. Oh, not bad. Surgeon Elmer headed up to a conference. That's right, that's right, that's right. I talked to him earlier today.
They had this meeting that was
Question.
the neighbor came out.
Oh. Which building? Albert High. Okay.
They complain about the criminal activity, but then you don't want to help
Building's
people.
usually locked.
You know, like, you don't want to get break that cycle, break the cycle.
They see it. In the greater good. They're checking it out, see how active it is. Then have places. They claim that. And not have to. So it would be getting you guys involved more.
Well, just to have of your own. Like, you take care of your own stuff better, so. Wait, when did TJ become a city employee?
Oh, my goodness, it's crazy though.
She a city employee, she a JPS employee, she's a.
TJ said it always people listen, like, why, it's freedom of speech, why are you worried about freedom of speech?
Well, the bigger thing is, the bigger thing,
That's 2 weeks that we think about it every day.
the bigger thing, if you look at the history, our history is evil.
Well, the thing is, it's the social construct. Social construct, which created.
Right.
I watched her on the line set the other day. She was pretty good.
Yeah, I missed that, I gotta see that. My sister has to send me out stuff on that. I see this.
She said, yeah.
Yeah, she sends me everything. Yeah, sometimes faster than I want to do.
I'm gonna go over here. I gotta get
All right.
She keeps everything.
Good talk.
Yeah, good job. I will.
All right, guys.
I just so teaching this, and I have more conversations about what whiteness is. More than I've ever had in my life. So.
Wait,
Oh, no. I was gonna pull up Jane Elliott and ask the question, the question that she asked. She says, okay, knowing how black people are treated in modern day, today, say that, if you would be willing to trade places with them, and no one ever stands up.
Yeah.
So, until you stand up, then I don't want to hear, oh, we're all human, because, yeah.
Especially having to watch it, get emotional with it. Yeah. You have to study it. John, if I'm reading something, John's all set.
Well, the craziest part is, people, we were bamboozled to think that we ever wanted equality, because if you think of any trusted relationship that you have, or relationship that you value, it's always based on equity. Do you treat your kids the same? Listen, if I had told my daughter that she wasn't gonna play in her basketball game because she was naughty, she would have been like, okay. It would have been the end of the world for Boo. So even the disciplinary methods are based on the child. That's equity.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of, you gotta think about doing like these microaggressions, understand what they are, how they work. Because it's such a, how you said, it's commonly accepted things for everything. We was talking about yesterday, we were talking about
then it's like the whole world is.
And that's really what it comes down to a lot, especially when I go, try to have DEI conversations. A lot of people, so they say DEI.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll shut it down. I'll say every time I see the perception in my mind, DEI consistent. You know what I'm saying? You're no good in that. That's simple. It's like, I have to almost go to your level to teach you. So I'm pointing to tough, you know what I'm saying? But the defense comes. Betty Douglas, power has efficacy. More than efficacy. You have to have that conversation to get into it and say, hey, and nobody wants to feel that you are being categorized as that have privilege. Power, wealth, privilege. It's all about it. So nobody wants to be labeled. So how do you have this discussion?
It's a, I don't know, was it Frederick Douglass or it might have been Martin Luther King. He was being, or was it Frederick Douglass? I don't know, one of them was being interviewed by like a news reporter. And he made some comment like, you know, how do you, we can't even have this conversation because how do you fully express that? You don't have to express. Like, and how often do people say that? Like, I mean, that right there shows that there's not a level playing field.
Yeah, that was Martin Luther King, yeah.
Right, right. And purposely, you don't have those bootstraps.
It's unique, but I actually enjoy having the conversation. That's the crazy part. It's like, you know, I'm not offended. I hope you're not offended when I bring what's true. You know, we talk about what it is. It's open conversations that have to be had. And I think we're getting to the point where those courageous conversations, they have to take place. To participate, to understand it. Everybody's wrong. Everybody wrong. Right now, it's like a partisan political thing. Talk about that. How can you get talk about that? You can't talk about that. I'm talking to people. I was surprised. Very, very highly intelligent. He was telling me what good grace did in that. I got to listen to it. So it's a full book. I just gave it to him to check it out. But he read it and he came back and he apologized. What his definition of what he received from it was based on what he had heard.
Right. Right.
This is what, that's not what it is. That's not what it is.
Well, the crazy thing is like, I was going to the state meeting, and it's not even taught at the high school that I
No,
was.
it's not. Actually, it's not even taught at college.
Right.
Unless you're in law school.
Right, right.
Unless you're in law school. That's
So
what
it's
it
like,
is.
all of these people are like so
It's the
upset.
study of the structure of how laws and different things affect it.
Right.
Critical racism is out here. Nobody teaches that in elementary school, high school, or college, unless you're in law school, which is a part of law, and how structural racism laws work. So, but the common thing is, hey, you're teaching this in first grade. You can't teach it in first grade. You won't comprehend it. Yeah, and, you know, even in college, nobody's teaching that. Yeah, there you go.
Their perception.
Yeah. Yes, I've heard of that. It doesn't read that way. It says something about the lion, the little child, so something like that. Not the lion of the lamb, but
The child will play with the,
yeah, leave it.
Yeah.
The lion will eat grass on the yard.
Yeah.
And the lamb will move. Mark Twain. Tom Sawyer. He wrote, you know, where the preacher's up there talking and Tom Sawyer's down the wood listening to that. He talks about the lion and the lamb together. That's where you find the lion and the lamb together is in Tom Sawyer.
No. It doesn't.
Didn't lock my computer. Can't get going until you sit down, Freddie.
Well,
Oh, and I'm gonna make sure I fire Keisha tomorrow. And I'll double pay.
Take her off.
100%. I'm so mad that I didn't do it already.
What money?
Yeah.
All right.
I make a motion that we return from closed session to open session.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Or can we just come back with a voice vote? Or does it has to be posted?
I don't know. Did all the computers go to sleep?
Yeah, let's just do a roll call.
Mayor Mahoney,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilmember Dancy,
yes.
Councilmember Dunn,
Yes.
Councilmember Schlechte,
Yep.
Councilmember Fennell,
Yes.
Councilmember Forgrave.
Yes.
All right, we are back from closed session.
I make a motion. Ready for that? Okay. I make a motion that we accept the staff recommendation on item number 12.1.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote.
You feel like a pirate.
Maybe I'm not, because it's not done. There we go. All right, motion passes 6-1.
Can I have a point of order? Someone abstained. Don't you have to say why you're abstaining?
Sure. I abstain because nobody knows what we're voting on, and we can't vote in favor under our own rules and policies to enrich ourselves. And there's no way to prove that we aren't. So I'm going to abstain in this.
Is that motion for 12-1 and 12-2?
So
No,
that
just
is,
12-1.
sorry, order. So again, just to go over the votes, it was 6 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstention being by Mr. Forgraves. That brings us to the next item.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the settlement recommendation from Labor Council and city staff in Jackson Circuit Court case number 17-2035-CK.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Okay, motion carries unanimously. And that brings us to council member comments. Let's start with Councilmember Schlechte.
Okay, I kind of want to talk about the Keisha Hamilton thing. I think Keisha's very bright, and I like Keisha personally. She is chair of our Racial Equity Commission. And if you go to our standards of conduct and look at A1, hold on one second, A1, 2-263A1, it says each board member sets the tone of the city of Jackson, acting as a leader and serving as an example of dedication, integrity, and professional conduct. And then go to item number C, conflicts of interest. Each board must act in good faith in the best interest of the city of Jackson, above any personal interest or interest of any particular constituency. D3, a board member, let's see, am I on the right one? Board member should give open and fair consideration to diverse and opposing viewpoints. G2, except where so empowered or authorized a board member speaking publicly, and this one's probably the more important, publicly to the community of the city of Jackson or in any other public forum must ensure that her statements are clearly identified as personal opinions and that she is not speaking on behalf of or expressing the views or positions of the board or city of Jackson in any official capacity. And then the last paragraph of M, discrimination. Members of boards shall not, in the discharge of their duty as board members, discriminate against any person because of race, religion, color, national origin, age, sex, height, weight, marital status, familiar status, handicap, sexual orientation, or gender identity. So I would like to ask that Ms. Hamilton provide us with a statement confirming that she was not speaking on behalf of the City of Jackson or the Racial Equity Commission in any way, shape, or form with regard to any of her statements regarding whiteness or anything that's been of controversial topics. I'm not against people bringing up controversial issues. I think that's how we grow often. But in this particular instance, she is the chair of the Racial Equity Commission, which is very important. Well, all our commissions are important, but it's new. And in light of our standards of conduct, I just think it would be nice for clarification that she's not speaking on behalf of the City of Jackson.
Just taking some notes.
Fair enough. I don't know if you need that in the form of a motion, or I don't know how we move forward with something, if it could be put on the next agenda. Jonathan always leaves right where it's running, very critical.
I don't think it was really that critical. Are you making a motion? Let's start there.
Can we do that during council member comments?
I think you can do whatever you
Okay,
want to do.
I would like to make that motion, that Keisha provide us with a written confirmation that her comments were not representative of her position as chair of the Racial Equity Commission or on behalf of the City of Jackson.
I'll support for discussion.
I will start I don't generally like to start comments when we have discussion on motions, but this might help in the discussion for what you're requesting. It clearly states, and she must be like watching the meeting because she just sent this to me and said like maybe you should read this, but it clearly states on her page that the views are hers. It said views are mine. So I guess outside of that, I don't know what we would ask her for.
Well, that's in writing, so that's fine. this kind of all took place while I was on vacation, so I
Yeah.
haven't been caught up on it. I just want to make.
And I think, again, and I'm not trying to interrupt you, like, my comment, and I still stand by my comment, is that, like, when you want something, to me, I think that oftentimes these situations are like attempts to start a fire, right? Whether, and again, I'll say I've had a personal conversation with her. While some of the views I like vehemently disagree with, some of the views I understand exactly what she was saying, and we've had a conversation about that, and where I stand and where she stands. And the biggest thing that she discussed is like this is like not the views of me. I think that again, it's what you talked about is that in the exercise, her duties that she has, right? I think that's the context we have to look at things. Was this said like while she was in a racial commission meeting to a racial commission board, like, or group of people in that setting while she was in that official capacity? Was it said in that context? I think is how we have to evaluate it.
Yeah, except for this says to the general public, So, and that's fine. If
Right.
she's clarified it and she has it in writing on her Facebook or somewhere, I just want our community to know that she is not speaking on behalf of the city of Jackson.
Totally
or-
understand, and I agree, and I think that is clarified. You know, and again, to me, I think the biggest thing is when you want a fire to go out, you don't keep blowing on it. And I think that's what this is an attempt of, is to continue to blow on a fire that they want to continue to start, right? And that's like I think we've had a great record over this last year of making sure that we don't get into mess that we don't necessarily need to. This is a situation where I don't think we need to get into something that we don't need to get into, right? I think if we were talking about the job she was doing on the commission in that capacity, then like let's explore that more. If you're questioning that in that capacity, then by all means, I think maybe we should ask her for clarification. But I think that it's clear on her page that her views are her views on there, and not. I'm sorry, order. So I don't know how anybody else feels, or I guess we can go around for additional comments if there's additional comments that people want to make.
I do have one kind of a question, essentially. I know that I've had a conversation with the city manager about this topic, essentially, and I think just for our own constituents' peace of mind to understand how this process works and what our, not necessarily our obligations are, but kind of essentially what our capabilities are within our set of our structure of rules and everything like that, in terms of, you know, people have asked for her to be removed from the Racial Equity Commission, things like that. So I just kind of, I don't know if this is something that either the city manager or our city attorney can explain, just so that our constituents understand why we can't just kick her off the commission for her own, you know, personal comments, not necessarily on behalf of the Racial Equity Commission.
If you oblige, I'll let Matt talk. So the short answer is any board or commission member serves at the pleasure of the 7 of you, right? You appoint them on the mayor's recommendation, and 4 votes runs the world as to who you see fit to put on a board or commission. The same holds true for how you would go about voting to remove any person from their service in a board or commission. I think the mayor hit the nail on the head when he said in the service of their particular board or in their capacity as a member of that board or commission. Typically, it's miss, mal, or nonfeasance. Those are the standards by which you would be judging under the city ethics ordinance in section 2263 that Councilwoman Schlechte just mentioned. There's specific criteria, but it relates to their actual conduct, activities on the board itself. There's been plenty of public debate relevant to Ms. Hamilton's comments and her ability to say them in a public forum like Twitter, and she's acknowledged, and as the mayor articulated, those comments are hers privately, her personal views as she tweeted out, and
That's part of our public forum and the great debate we have on issues related to race. So that said, you have the ability to remove any member of a board or commission, but obviously it has to be fact-specific, relevant to their service on that board or commission. One other point I'd like to make relative to the process, you would have to have a public hearing. That particular board or commission member can request the public hearing and respond in writing and at an open meeting to any final recommendations you'd have for removal or debate one way or the other. So there is a process, but it does involve a public hearing.
So I'll tell you whose opinion I would be interested in hearing from is the individuals who she serves on the Racial Equity Commission with, which is an extremely diverse group. I think that would.
I'm not questioning her ability, because I've seen Keisha in meetings and on Racial Equity Commission. She has done it from the ones that I have been exposed to. She's done a great job. She stayed on target with the conversation. I just wanted to make sure that our community knew that we as a city are not endorsing what she said, and that she is speaking on her own behalf and not as part of the city. I'm not questioning her ability on the Racial Equity Commission. From what I have seen, she has not violated her work on that at all. She actually has, I think she's worked quite tirelessly on the Racial Equity Commission. So I'm not questioning that at all. I just want to make sure our constituents know that her words are not our words, and that it's in writing, that they're from her, and you confirmed to me that it is on her website or wherever you read that. So to me, that's in writing, and that's what my point is. And I appreciate Will seconding that for discussion.
Well, I mean, like I said 2 weeks ago, I think context and nuance matters, and if you look at my comments, I didn't endorse or disparage her. I simply said that context matters, and I would welcome, anybody to come up, but I think more important than anybody, her, from the Racial Equity Commission, to come and speak on behalf of that. She was on the Lion's Den recently, and she did put some of it into context. I'd imagine a lot of people that spoke tonight don't watch the Lion's Den, so those are my 2 cents.
And half don't even live in the city.
Yeah. Well,
So since you clarified that she has it in writing, then I will withdraw my motion.
Okay.
And that's
Councilman,
all I have for comments, but I'm glad to be back in the thick of it.
welcome back to the thick of it. Councilmember Bonnell.
Not that I want to beat this topic like a dead horse or whatever, but I do understand, from the city standpoint, not just removing Keisha from this position, too much to the dismay of, I'm sure, a handful of people. And like Councilmember Schlechte has mentioned, and Will also has mentioned, I personally don't, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't necessarily appreciate or enjoy the comments that Keisha has made, simply because I am a white female. But at the same time, I don't appreciate any racist comments, whether you're white, black, Asian, Pacific Islander, whatever you are, whatever your nationality is. Comments like that I just don't think are acceptable or necessary. I think hateful speech like that is not acceptable in any way. However, freedom of speech 101, we can say whatever we want. And that is your opinion. If you are against a specific race, a specific gender, a specific religion, then you have the right to say that. Doesn't necessarily mean that it is appropriate or nice, but that's just freedom of speech for you. But I will end with that topic, and I think that'll be it for me.
Big Will.
Just briefly, I want to talk a little bit, as much as I can, which isn't much, about the abstention. I've done that before. I think whenever we come out of a closed session and then move to do something opaquely and not transparently, I'll abstain every time. It's one of my biggest pet peeves as a former reporter. I think we talk about transparency and openness all the time, and then we do things like that, right? And that's why people don't trust us, because we aren't open about what we do. I don't think there's a good reason for it either. I'll just say that openly too. I don't think there's a good reason for that specifically to not just be said what we did. And I think the second motion I made speaks to that as well. You know the case number, you know we're settling it. I think that's important. When on any vote we take publicly, that you know what we're doing. I think that's the bare minimum. So.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have a lot here. I just wanted to, after last meeting, send a special thank you out to Andrea and Lisa for the board doc support and help. I was one of those that needed some extra help. And knowing we started new documents, I was late that meeting too, so it was like a rush thing. But I do appreciate your help and support to getting me on task. The sculpture team, I was a part of that team, and just briefly, I think the team did a very good job. I appreciate everyone that was a part of the ad hoc committee. I was glad to see Angela here tonight, and Kelly, for her leadership and support through that. I know last meeting I wavered a little bit, I guess, and it was because it was just not a smooth process for me, the last meeting. I am pleased with the decision, but I ended up voting no, but it was just because I didn't feel that what Angela talked about today, that process was not done prior to coming to council. So that created a bit of an issue for me. But it's all straight now. And, MLK Drive, Ward 1 is receiving the 2 pieces, but I really hope that Ward 2 and 4 get something. And I know we still have a spot in 6 that needs something in there. So, someday, I think that would be great to have those areas filled. Yeah, City of Jackson should. We got all these roundabouts now. But that would be the end of my comments. I appreciate everybody here tonight and all of the staff for all your support.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
So first, I'd just like to announce that myself, 2nd Ward and 3rd Ward, we having a community meeting next Tuesday. When I pick the day of the week, I don't pick a date. I know next Tuesday is Valentine's Day. Oh, well. I just look at the date. I look at what's available, so that's what I said. Tuesday, Wednesday wasn't going to work, and Thursday, so, can't do a Friday. So I'm trying to pick a day that they will come out. They're going to come out.
Saturday morning.
No, ain't no, you going to do it at Eastern Market? Yeah. Okay. So that they, so, we're going to have a director hit, right? He's going to be there. He's just going to go over some numbers and everything that's going on in the 2nd, 3rd Ward. And also GVI, gun, violent, intervention,
Group violence.
group and violence intervention. I knew it. I just testing to see if y'all know. So, you know, have them come and looking at trying maybe get a police oversight committee, someone that represent. Just come talk about who they are, what they do, and just get some information out. You know, we'll have some goodies, some things to eat and drink, and maybe some things to smoke. You never know. You never know. Hey, you never know. I'm talking about young.
We do know.
Oh, okay, you do know. Okay, you never know. I might just change. Hey, man, you
Don't
never
do
know.
it.
So, yeah, but just let's just say that. And also, talking about, we've been talking about Keisha and what she said, and it was on a personal page, and she explained that. But what I would say, you know, if you're a council member, all you have to do is call her and have a conversation with her and sit down and talk to her. That's all you have to do. Get her understanding. Instead of hearing what you hear outside, just sit down and talk with her. And she'll tell you she'll explain to you what she means. That's not hard to do, you know. If there's some issues, you can sit down, get an understanding. Then you go back to constituents and tell them what was going on. But I just think as a council members, we have but we need to sit down, talk, get a better understanding what everything came from, what she said. So with that, I sit on the Racial Equity Commission. You know, the work we do on the Racial Equity Commission, we look at policies for the city. We look at city policies, what we need to, you know, change or upgrade or whatever we do. So that's what our work is. And there's nothing racist or anything like that in there. I heard some people saying that she's on payroll. Nobody's getting paid. Nobody's on any commission getting paid. So I heard people say she's on the payroll with the city, and that's a lie. So I just want to make sure everybody understand that no one's getting paid on any commission, any committee, nowhere, no how. Are there? Yeah, okay, I know. So that's it. Just thank you. Thank you, Mr. Willis. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Angelita Gunn.
Oh, boy, gosh. I don't think I really have any more comments tonight.
Where's your meeting?
Our meeting is going to be at the Booth Center. Thank you. At 6:30 p.m. Thank you. And really, you know, it's in response, both of our wards, the recent shooting and the tragic homicide of a young boy happened in my ward, and we both heard from our constituents that they're concerned about public safety, and so we thought it would be a good idea to have the people who are on the front lines come and give some perspective and help people just have some discussion and process what happened last Thursday. So, yeah, anyone's invited, although it's Ward 3 and Ward 2. And it sounds like Freddie's promised to bring treats, so I'll be looking forward to those.
Lord have mercy.
It is Valentine's Day, by the way, so cookies,
A new line
chocolate,
of
hearts.
Dancy's Fancy Butter coming out.
We're going to introduce a new flavor.
Oh, butterboards would be good.
I think this is a result of us being about an hour past the time that Freddie expected to leave. That's my first comment. I want to echo what Vice Mayor said. I wish Lisa was still here, but I know she has probably had an extremely long day, just like our clerk. But I want to can we just give them a round of applause? Because I know this has not been easy transition for the implementation and execution of board docs, because it's not just us, it's also the department heads, and they were the first line to be trained to roll this out. So you guys have done a phenomenal job. I just want to say that publicly, that you guys have done a phenomenal job at rolling this out, and thank you. And then just a secondary shout out to Lisa, Shane, and Scott for the Buildable Lot program. And the idea of rolling that program out already yielding results for infilling housing that we hope will continue. Because if we're building houses and selling houses, and we've got complexes coming in, that means like our community is growing, and a growing community is a good thing, in my opinion, that I'm sure that you guys will all agree with. Man, I'm tired. I don't got no more comments for y'all tonight. Happy Black History Month would be my final comment, and I'm going to say it again at the next meeting. Happy Black History Month. Mr. City Attorney. Sorry, Mr. City Manager. See, it's late.
No
I'm
comment.
sleepy
No
and it's
comment.
late.
No comment. I agree. No comment.
Okay.
Go home.
Freddie, you going to jump on it?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. We are adjourned.
Put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing. Say that.
Well, no. If you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing and say that.
Well, no, if you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing and say that.
Well, no, if you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing and say that.
Well, no, if you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing and say that.
Well, no, if you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing and say that.
Well, no, if you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing and say that.
Well, no, if you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing and say that.
Well, no, if you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing and say that.
Well, no, if you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing and say that.
Well, no, if you tell me she's good with it.
She needs to put something in writing.